Freedom is coming tomorrow. Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom. Freedom is coming.
Only chance Kenyans have to change this country because we are
Wajackoya the fifth. Very nice.
Estimating the power of the unknown. My God who works with me knows the answers, and I'm the next president of this country.
always done what I've promised. For the last 62 years I've lived in this world. Whenever I promise you something, I'll do.
Youth washaamua kuwa Wajackoya the fifth. Mimi nishaamua Wajackoya the fifth, okay? 2022, this feature will be Wajackoya.
For polling day on the 9th of August, and among the 4 presidential candidates cleared by the poll body IEBC is Professor George Lushiri Wajackoya of the Roots Party. He is seeking the mandate of the people of the Republic of Kenya, if accorded so on the 9th of August, to govern or rule over them until the 9th of August 2027. So let's take a look at the highlights of the manifesto that he launched on the 30th of June last month. And here it says that some of the highlights that the Roots Party presidential candidate said he will prioritize include 4-day working of a week, creating 8 states in the country, deporting all foreigners, move Kenya's capital city from Nairobi to Isiolo, and shutting down the standard gauge railway, SGR. Also in the 10-point manifesto of Professor George Wajackoya are, amongst the other issues, including some of the other economic issues that he will say will alleviate the country of the economic turbulent times, and these include the legalization of bang or marijuana, snake farming, exporting dog meat, hanging the corrupt, and suspending the constitution. We shall be expounding on some of these issues, and here is the profile of the guest tonight on Kura 2022. Professor George Lushiri Wajackoya is the Roots Party presidential candidate who is seeking the mandate of the people of the Republic of Kenya, and among the 4 presidential candidates cleared by the poll body IEBC, and that ahead of the elections on the 9th of August, when Kenyans will be heading to the ballot to accord the mandate to the next crop of leadership who will be governing over them until the 9th of August 2027. Evening, Prof. Thank you. Asante for making time. And many Kenyans are contemplating, why have you prioritized the legalization of marijuana in your manifesto? And it stands out as a very pertinent matter, significant for that matter, in your manifesto. Why?
First of all, thank you, Kenyans. I've just arrived from the US, where I went to inspect ganja, corporate industries. And I've come back with good news after inspecting various factories and corporate entities, and also the ganja restaurants. And now I am ready with what I said. Now, when it comes to the question that you have asked, let me just bring it to you.
Okay.
I hope you're a Muslim, but if you're a Christian, you can go and read the Bible and read it thoroughly, because ganja is still legal in Israel, where God was created to create a human being.
Okay.
Ganja has been used by Moses when he was in the wilderness. Ganja has been accepted by Jesus Christ himself when he accepted a woman who had put oil in her hair, which was made out of opium, and Jesus was rebuked on that, and he even said, "Leave thy not, because this is me, and she has come to me." The rest you can read. That is, ganja is even used.
Okay.
The ganja byproducts are even used in the Vatican. There are nuns growing ganja for purposes of medicinal and food. But when it comes here, we think of the other way around. If you look at ganja economics, that is what has moved the world from where it is today to 22nd economic industry. I'm not talking of the smoking.
Okay.
Because in the US, even if it's smoked for detoxification. You smoke it to detox yourself. You have a name for that. But when it comes to the commercial aspect of ganja, everything, including some of these materials you see on the film industry, on your film stuff here, is made out of marijuana.
Okay.
Drones are made out of marijuana. Canada has just made a plane, the first Boeing 747, from the fabric, which comes from hemp, which comes from marijuana. So it's not really bad news. And of course, I have a series of cases in court today and tomorrow for those who think that I'm going to indoctrinize young people. It's for commercial use, for us to pay our debt, and then pay off the Chinese and ask the Chinese to leave this country.
I'll come to the very specifics, because you have mentioned the United States of America, and The 53 member states of the CND of the United Nations, Central Drug Policy Making Body, and in the US, which removed cannabis from Schedule 4 of the Single Convention while retaining them in Schedule 1, said, and this is the federal government in the United States of America, that consistent with science demonstrating that while a safe and effective cannabis-derived therapeutic has been developed, cannabis itself continues to pose significant risks to public health in the United States of America and should continue be controlled under the International Drug Control Conventions. What framework will you use to regulate that?
That whiskey which is manufactured in Tennessee
Okay.
also causes a very serious effect when it's taken.
Okay.
So anything, no, I'm answering.
Okay, hang on. Okay.
So anything that you do in excess, even sex, even water, it will damage you. So this nonsense of them saying that it is that, yes, they have said it's scientific, but you don't forget to say that 2 weeks ago, the federal government decriminalized ganja, which is grown in 23 states for purposes of export. Now it's no longer a federal offense. So wherever you are reading, find out when it was published.
But this is the UN report, and the United Nations also, in that report in December 2020, that's less than 2 years ago, reclassified cannabis, yet still considers it harmful.
Anything is harmful. Even kissing a woman or kissing a man whose teeth are rotten, to that level, you get a bacteria.
Okay.
I'm talking of 2 weeks ago, when the United States government, and I'm a lawyer there too, as I am in UK, as I am here too, they decriminalized ganja from the list of federal drugs into a state drug, which means that now you can move from one state that has legalized ganja to a state that has legalized ganja through instrumentalities of commerce.
Okay. When you mentioned that, then, here is also another report by NACADA, and this is under the Campaign Against Alcohol, Drug Abuse, NACADA in the country, under the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Control Act of the Drug Agency in the country. It also noted that a survey conducted in 2019 to assess emerging trends showed overwhelming evidence of abuse of cannabis in form of cookies, candies, and other forms of confectionaries. This among the young people in the country.
That was done by Parliament here. No, I'll come to you. I know where you're coming from. That act is done in Kenyan Parliament after MPs of the government has gone to negotiate outside to get some aid, and they are told, no, you have to do this. Let them go to Holland. They could have done a benchmarking visit to Holland to find out why it's taken in Holland. They should have gone to countries like Canada. This nonsense of Kenyan MPs coming up to do that for them to get aid in the country is nonsensical. And I'll dismiss it that way.
So you're saying this was conditional
before
they were granted aid?
Well, it was what good goes through Kenyan Parliament anyway. They make more laws than anything else. You find out why ganja where NACADA came into effect. What kind of scientific evidence was that? Who did that? Who did that? Was it? Let me say it this way. What methodology was used? Was it quantitative, qualitative, or mixed method? And who did it? And for what purpose? And for how long?
And this is the entity that did it, because you're calling for clarity on who did it. The World Health Organization last year presented 9 recommendations on the use of cannabis in recognition of its abuse and potential health risks. And it noted that some of the statements made in favor of the legalization of marijuana are misleading, as they are intended to elicit excitement among the people, especially the young people. And let it be known, it said, that the law is still enforced, that anyone contravening this law will be apprehended.
Yes, we have not contravened it. And that's why stupidity comes with the ignorance of those who do not understand the law. All I'm saying is we are going to ask Kenyans to legalize. That's why I'm running my campaign on that. I'm not saying that they should break the law. Even recently, there's somebody who was smoking in front of me during my campaigns in Meru, and I rebuked that person. Until we make it into law, it's fine. But this issue of and you know, Kenyans are full of themselves. When it comes to laws, they make more laws than even the Constitution, than even any other law in the country. Nicotine, where does it come from? Why has Philip Morris been taken to court and fined almost $1 billion in the US 4 years ago? Why can't we be talking of cigarettes that you can get in the shop, smoke, and then die with inscriptions of the lungs of the people? Let's move away from ignorance and stupidity. Let's move at what's making the world to move with commerce. I'm not even talking of smoking. I am talking of commercial and medicinal. The two words, commercial and medicinal. I'm not talking of smoking. You are talking of smoking. Leave me out of that conversation.
But given that, also in the commercialization you're talking about, and this is what the United Nations considered. 53 member states of the CND, and with a vote of 27 member states in favor, 25 against, 1 abstention. But the concern still is that this also opens the floodgate for abuse. How will you control? What is the safeguard around that?
Look, I've just come from the US, where it's totally controlled. Where it's totally controlled for manufacturing and medicinal and sold in stores. I'm talking for total control, medicinal, and manufacturing of commercial goods like the fiber where we make planes and what have you. I'm not talking of that. We shall use the same methodology of controlling with the legislation. I'm not just saying that come up and smoke. Come on. I've never smoked weed.
Okay.
But if it's
you never did, so that's
I've
good.
never. But
clear.
when it comes to smoking on that day, I'll smoke a detoxed one.
So
that's what I'm saying.
You will do on the detoxing level?
Yes.
And making it clear to Kenyans that you...
But if Kenyans work out and they say, we want also to be smoked, then you can smoke when it's controlled.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. Jamaica, which has legalized weed, Jamaica, which has had weed for centuries, for years, the number of mad people in Jamaica is only maybe 1%. Go to Madare Mental Hospital today. How many people are inpatients and outpatients? Let's come out of this topography of mediocrity by some of the church leaders in this country who themselves do not know how. They are not telling Kenyans how they are going to create employment for Kenyan people. Oh, whatever Wajackoya has said is this way.
Hang on.
Nonsense.
Okay, hang on. That's your word. Hang on. Not that of Media Max. Okay, 24. And when the agency like the World Health Organization, which is a key agency of the United Nations, points out that its production sale for commercial, that's what's the point to get the proposal, must have a regulatory framework that guarantees good practice, quality, innovation, and research development. How key will you be focusing on that?
I agree with that statement.
Okay.
Yes.
How will you formulate these policies?
No, that will be formulated once we reach there, but I agree with that because in Israel, it's also done that way.
Okay. Another report again. 1.2% of pupils in the country in Kenya use cannabis in schools, and this has affected education program. And this is a drug or a substance that is subject to abuse in the country, and you understand that, Prof. I mean, how will you address that problem?
How about people who drink changa and smoke?
Okay.
No. You're asking me, I'm answering you. What about people who drink liquor? How many accidents do we have every day for school kids who drink and then die in road accidents? Let's not be opinionized.
Okay.
You are reading things that have been written.
Okay.
Let's go to the facts, my friend.
And these are facts from the United Nations?
Yeah, what's the United Nations?
Agencies global?
What has United Nations in the world? Can I tell you as an international lawyer?
Headquartered in the country that you fancy going to, where you are from?
UN. When countries are fighting, what do? When a country is fighting for another country, they sit and fold their hands this way because they are UN. Hell no, we are a Kenyan nation, we are a sovereign nation, and I'm talking of Kenya. When the Chinese are coming in this country and giving us money from Ganja, do they say anything?
Okay. And Kenya does not function in isolation. It's a member of the Community of Nations.
Look here, my friend. Let's not go into too much kizungu, na hivi tumesoma shule namna hii. Let's go into practical realities.
Okay, and the practical realities is a report that I read to you, and what are the frameworks, the guarantees, good practices,
can you
quality?
call the US ambassador here tomorrow and ask him the same
no
questions?
Point of him answering the
questions.
questions.
Or can you call the Canadian ambassador and ask him the same questions?
Okay.
I think he'll answer you better.
Okay.
Just because I'm a minority who is trying to do what they are doing, I'm subjected to this by Kenyan media and what have you. I'm not saying you in person. But bureaucracy, autocracy, and lack of information and intelligence. People should research better from those countries that have legalized and come up and find out how have they legalized. What is the benefit? Then we talk from the same level. Not just inventing media and telling me.
And the media is here to put anyone seeking the mandate, for example, you're seeking of the president to question. On 30th June, at the KICC, you said, if I grow bang in Nyeri alone, each Kenyan can get a dividend check of 200,000 Kenya shillings every year from the sale of bangi. If we grew bangi in Nyeri alone, Nyeri County, we'll build 2 expressways in each county in Kenya. If we grew bangi in Nyeri alone, you said Kenya will have 10% of IMF total cash reserves. In short, we will never borrow a single coin again in the future. Definitely. How will you practicalize that?
Well, just like I said it. When you cross the bridge, and you do it practically, then you ask me that question, I'll answer you.
Okay. Yeah. So it's subject to implementation if you're accorded the mandate by the Kenyan people. Okay. And in terms of then again, talking about the consequences of the commercial aspect, and you have talked about debt here because it's very important, and this is a concern for many Kenyans. In your view then, how is Kenya ought to be managing its debt when you look at the current regime and the government in authority at the moment?
The question is, how is it borrowing? And why is it not managing its borrowing?
Okay. My admission to the bar ceremony at the Supreme Court, please ask Prof, in the likely event the presidential election gets to round 2, who will he support between Raila and Ruto? and assure him of my vote. He is from the county of Garissa, and he's an advocate of the High Court. Later, we'll be sampling some of your feedback on Twitter, and that is the hashtag Kura2022. Let's get to the other important aspect of your manifesto, Prof, and this also stands out, which is a tower in the manifesto that you launched on the day 30 of last month in June. And you want to suspend the Constitution.
I want to ask Kenyans to look into the Constitution and ask themselves what went wrong with this Constitution.
So you want to suspend the Constitution?
I want to ask Kenyans to look into the Constitution and interrogate it and ask themselves what went wrong with this Constitution. Why is the judiciary not up to the task? Why is the executive always fighting with the judiciary? And why is the legislature always debating on their salary increases? I want to ask them. I also want to put my questions like any other Kenyan, and if they can look into it and come up with a framework that will take time, will allow Kenyans an opportunity to interrogate it, instead of asking a few men in executive suits like yourself today, not you in person, you compose a group of few men, few learned men, PhDs and degrees. Then you tell them, look, this is a commission for this. Can you look into this? And then they do benchmarking. They go to South Africa, they copy something, bring it here. Go to Canada, the same. And now they say, this is what we have come up. Now people can be asked, and people are given very few days. It is not even translated in the 48 or 46 or 47 tribes we have in the country. People are not given enough time to popularly participate in it. That is wrong. Why am I saying like that? If you look at the state of Israel, which was not there before 1948, which was actually in exile, the Israelis came up and they said, we want to constitute our state, but how do we go about it? Therefore, they came up with the draft constitution. The day they took over Israel territory, they went to Knesset, parliament, and they tore out that constitution, and they said, this is not progressive enough. Let us go by the norm and by the day-to-day activities of this country and learn from the past, from the Torah, learn from academic writings, learn from the rules of Moses, and then we move on. After 5 years, Israel, while they were celebrating their newfound independence, they said the best thing they did was never to write a constitution. Now, go to the United States where we have a written constitution. There, the Supreme Court came up and he said, the US Constitution is not a constitution until an issue is brought before us in court. For us to deliberate on it, and whatever is our finding in court is supreme. And that's what we call the lenient Tories. If you go to UK today, UK, which is the mother of all former empires, including Britain, had to force Kenyans to write a constitution in Lancaster House, yet they themselves do not have. We want to go through conventions. Day-to-day activities, let Kenyans be given enough time, let them look at it and find out what they
And so you have talked about Israel, the United Kingdom, unwritten constitutions, Canada.
New Zealand.
I get your point, and you pointed that out in your manifesto. But I'm asking you, why do you want to suspend the Kenyan Constitution?
Why do I want to suspend the Kenyan Constitution? I want Kenyans to look into it because the evil we have in this country is from the same copy and pasted constitution.
Given that we are in a country where court orders are largely adhered to, and you have seen rulings after rulings by the courts in the country, how then will an embryonic democracy like Kenya, 30 years after multi-party democracy, thrive in such a vacuum in a democracy?
If there was a coup today, and the military took over Kenyan government and suspended the question.
God forbid there isn't any.
No, I'm just asking, I'm just rebutting. What will you do? Supposing there was a coup.
We have no predictive skills.
No, but I have to speak the way it is.
Hang on. Prof, let's have some constructive, debate here. I have no predictive skills as to what if the military takes over.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you what if you took over and suspended the constitution.
And the last time I read about a coup happening in 1982, I wasn't born. However, my question is then, why do you want to suspend the constitution?
I've told you I want Kenyans to look into that constitution for a time frame so that they can decide whether they need to change some parts or not.
How then do we operate in that vacuum where in a country we live in a country where we largely...
There are rules and regulations, the court procedures are there and what have you. I'm not talking of regulations. I'm talking at Kenyans looking at the constitution because of the preamble, with the people, which is actually the constitution itself, not what is written in the articles of incorporation, what have you. They should look at themselves, like when Raila went to swear himself as a people's president, was he violating the constitution or was it in the preamble? What happened to Raila? Yes, he had a right, like any other Kenyan, to say, look, we are going to swear ourselves in, but look at the regulations. So I'm looking at it in the same way Raila looked into it. Let's look at the constitution. Let's find out what's wrong with it. Let's change what we don't want, and we move in. We move on. That is what I'm saying.
How practical is that?
It is practical because it is.
Don't you see the Kenyan constitution as progressive, eloquent, expressive?
Well, everything is progressive, including if you marry today and you have a child will progress until he becomes mature.
Okay. As a lawyer who practices in the United States of America, a resident who lived in the UK, two most advanced democracies in the world, you see the constitution of Kenya as a problem and you want to suspend it?
Well, I've practiced both in UK and US. I've practiced in the UK where there's no written constitution. We deal with the conventions.
Okay.
We deal with the royal prerogatives. I've practiced in the US. I've taught law in the US where we have the Leonian principles and theories. That's why Americans are free. An American will come up and tear the flag and burn it. When we come to what we call descriptive,
okay,
human or humanity. Here, if you tear the flag, you go to jail.
Okay. So
there is no that freedom. I need freedom where Kenyan can come and demonstrate his will,
okay,
by doing what he can do without being interfered with.
Okay, and it's in the UK that the Supreme Court in 2019 ordered the Prime Minister that he illegally prorogued the House of Commons at the height of Brexit crisis. Can we get, my question is then, because the ex-Prime Minister of the United Kingdom is now out of number 10 in London, that he illegally prorogued Parliament, the House of Commons, and the Supreme Court 11 judges led by Lady Justice Hale had ordered the House to reconvene under then Speaker John Barker to discuss the Brexit crisis. Can we get an adherence of such a level if you suspend the Kenyan constitution?
Do you have a written constitution in the US, in the UK?
No, we don't, but there's adherence.
You see, that's now, you have answered your question.
That's now the adherence.
There we deal.
Not the question. The response I want from you is, Prof, just hang on and be patient, is then can we get such a level of adherence? And I give you enough time to respond. Can we get that level of adherence here in the country in the event you suspend the constitution?
Let me answer you. Let me answer you and stick to my answer. And I'm not going to get swayed away from whichever way you used to ask. I'm asked questions anyway. I'm a lawyer. I do cross-examination in court. What I told you, and I will make it very clear, and I'm not going to derogate from it, is we need Kenyans to look into the constitution and ask themselves, why are we going back instead of moving forward?
Okay.
What is happening with the judiciary? What is happening with the legislature? And what's happening with the executive? And why are we in this quagmire? Why is it that a case takes too long in Kenya as opposed to other countries? You look at the Chicken Gate versus IBC or IBC versus Chicken Gate. The case was there 12 years ago.
Okay.
Those who are found guilty on the same case in Britain were jailed and they finished their jail term and they are now ordinary citizens. In Kenya, it's still going on.
Okay.
What is wrong with the constitution?
Okay. So you're excoriating the institutions of government. And that brings me to the question of corruption again, which stands out in your manifesto. And you want to hang the corrupt.
Yes.
Why?
Well, if you go to China and you steal, they hang you. You go to Japan and you dream that you have stolen, you commit suicide. You go to the UK, US, Canada, they put you in jail. But you come to Kenya, they take you to the Senate.
Why do you want to copy their model of hanging?
Well, I'm not copying. I'm hanging them, okay, because corruption is bad. How would you expect a member of parliament or a Kenyan citizen to go and steal from KEMSA? 1,000 people die. He goes to court to prolong himself. Let this man die. If he's found guilty, nyonga, and I'll stand by it. You vote for me, you don't want to vote for me. The only way to finish corruption in this country is to hang the bastards.
Okay.
Hang one or two or three, and Kenya will be free like Greater Somalia today.
Okay. What about then the institutions of government that are mandated by law, the criminal justice system that ought to be investigating, taking these cases before the courts of law, subject to determination, serving jail sentence? Do you have no hope in these institutions?
There is no hope. Look at Kinoti. Look at Haji, the two senior officers of the government, and look at the judges. Kinoti will come up and say, this is what is happening. Haji will take them to court. In court, prolongation. Every time, case in Irishwa. Then there is a fight. Look at the fight going on between Kinoti and Haji. Why is it there? Look at the president. He has been made a lame duck president. When there is legislation or he passes something, somebody runs to court. It is stopped there in Ayekwanini. Look at Songo's case, for example. It has gone to the Supreme Court. Somebody wants Songo to run. Is that respect for the law? Do you want that kind of constitution where the law is not respected? Not in my government. Sorry.
So is the judiciary the problem or institutions of government? To be
I'm
clear?
telling you, I have mentioned both of them.
Okay.
The executive, legislature and what have you, let Kenyans look into them and find out why they are being given wheelbarrows instead of being given helicopters, why they are being given spades instead of where they are being shown what to do, going back in the 1950s instead of working like the Japanese, looking at the moon and predicting what is going to happen in 20 years from today. That's where I am. And that's why maybe I've been taken to court many times. Like today I had cases in court for them to say that I was a madman. So it be. But the truth of the matter is, we are being taken back. I'm telling Kenyans, look here, you are going to regret after my death. You will say, Professor said this. Other countries have reached here. Too much kizungu, too much stupidity, too much conmanship. Watu wako tu ngengengenge, constitution inasema. But where is the practical aspect part of it? Where is the practical? At least today you are very wise, you are asking me questions others will not ask me. And I like you for that, because you want to know. But when you come with a good thing, for example, now I'm talking of legalization of weed for medicinal and commercial. Some people who ought to be teaching morals are reading the other way around. Instead of going to read the Bible to find out what happened with the marijuana in the Bible, why God created it, and why people of Israel are using it, they are saying, oh, Wajackoya, anaharibia sisi watoto. Of course, there are so many people in the church leadership that have sad children without illegitimate children, and they don't want to take care of them. If they are saying that hao ndio watoto naharibu, bas, they are going to be answerable when I take over the government. Watalipa, whatever. But let me not sway myself away from what you asked.
Okay.
The question is things are not working the way they ought to work. And if I'm a madman, so let me declare myself a madman.
Okay.
But the truth be told, I'm hurt. I've just come from UK, US, and Spain within a span of a few days. I did not run away from those countries. I was doing very well,
okay,
and I'm still doing very well financially. When you come here, you buy a small car for the campaign, ati ametoa wapi, amepewa. Come on, I'm a rich man in the US. I don't need to advertise that here.
Okay.
But when it comes to people now labeling people,
thank you.
Hata saa ile amevaa, ni Azimio. This nonsense got to stop.
We'll respond to that because recently in an interview you said someone approached you with 200 million Kenya shillings.
Yeah, what can I do with 200 million?
Hang on. We'll respond to that because we have time to do so. One final question on the aspect of corruption. You mentioned certain institutions in the country, yet there is a constitution in place. And briefly, because we have enough time to respond to the project tag that you have mentioned. But given that you have mentioned certain institutions that are underperforming in the country, is the problem the occupants of the office or the office?
The politicians.
The occupants of the office?
The politicians.
Not all offices are occupied by politicians.
The politicians and also members who work for the government in both arms.
Okay.
Because today, for example, if a child born in Somalia or Somali parents today and he reaches 18 and wants an ID, you have to bribe until manna comes from heaven, just because you are of Somali origin, without knowing that a Somali kid born in Kenya is a Kenyan. When it comes to issues of anti-terrorism, maybe you can also answer me. Okay. An act to specifically target members of a community. If you are a Somali and something small happens, huyu ni anti-terrorist imekuja, unawekwa ndani for 14 days. Watoto wa watu wanatupwa ndani ya jela because of that act of anti-terrorism.
Okay.
Who made it? Politicians. Who is enforcing it? Lawyers. And we can't talk about that.
Okay.
We can't interrogate the constitution.
Thank you.
And the laws that are so bad for this country.
Okay.
Come on.
Thanks, Prof. When we get back from the break, we talk politics, opinion polls, and what's forthcoming on the 26th of this month when the presidential debate will be. My admission to the bar ceremony at the Supreme Court. Please ask Prof, in the likely event the presidential election gets to round 2, who will he support between Raila and Ruto? And assure him of my vote. He is from the county of Garissa and he's an advocate of the High Court. Later we'll be sampling some of your feedback on Twitter, and that is the hashtag Kura2022. And going ahead, there are others, of course, and the comments, some not, of course, do not qualify to be read on air. Let's now get a look at the latest opinion poll, starting off with TIFA, and this is the latest one done by the poll body, and it placed the ODM party chief Raila Odinga and Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition political party leader Raila Odinga at 42%, William Ruto of the Kenya Kwanza Alliance at 39%, and Professor George Lushire Wajackoya at 4%. Another opinion poll by Infotrack places the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga at 49%, William Ruto at 30%, and Professor George Lushire Wajackoya at 5%. And Prof, looking at this Infotrack and TIFA poll, you have earlier on dismissed them, but they place you far, far behind the two leading presidential candidates.
Those two, when I take over the government, I will have a cup of tea with them to ask them, Those are quacks. Those are opinion polls without foundation. And they're here to mislead Kenyans, and I hereby join the Deputy President in denouncing them. Even though I don't agree with Ruto on many things, on many front lines, but this one, I do agree with you, Honorable Ruto. These are quacks, and then those who are doing the presidential debate are also quacks.
Okay, we will come to that.
No, let me answer you. Please, don't cut me, because that's restraint of
There's a specific
speech.
question.
The reason why I want to say this way, can I talk or I walk out?
Okay.
There are two things.
Go
Either
ahead.
I talk or I walk out.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Why would they come up with these opinion polls when at first I was 0-0-0? So when I told them to go to hell on the debate, all of a sudden 5%. And now those who are arranging for presidential debate, they have never asked presidential candidates about which companies or agencies who are satisfied with, would like them to look at the opinion polls. Now they come up and they say that if you are 5 and below, you cannot go for presidential debate, you cannot tally on a presidential debate to stand with it. In the US, all presidential candidates come on the front line. UK the same, Canada the same. Kenya is only a land of mediocres who come in to divide.
Okay.
I'm not attending presidential debate, and I'm telling Kenyans, unless I'm paired with Ruto and Raila, they can go and do what they want. I will not be attending, because this is hypocrisy. Have they gone to my framework? Have they gone to the people who will vote for me as they say? That Wajackoya, no, you'll spoil people's votes. I'm only getting the young people. Have they even come into Nairobi? How do I get 1% in Nairobi? Me. And I'm more popular in Nairobi than any of these people.
Okay.
How do I get 1%, 2% or what have you in Meru? These guys are jokers. I am telling them openly, I'm running for president, I'll be on the ballot, I'm winning these presidential elections without debate.
Okay. Recently you said you were offered 200 million Kenya shillings.
Yes, sir.
By an anonymous entity you never mentioned to step away from the race. Who is that person?
Yes, I cannot mention, because I don't want to put people's problems, carry people's problems with them. They came to me, they told me, can we give you this amount? First of all, they were very hesitant. They used a Mwindi friend of mine to reach me. So when I went there and I saw these people, and I'm like, really? So we talked little, and then they say, well, Professor, I want you to spoil votes for a particular presidential candidate. I said, what do you mean? That no, we want you to go and campaign in his territory so that he fails, but we are giving you 200,000. I used an F word, which I cannot use on television.
Okay.
And then the other day, now they came up with some MP from wherever, saying that at Wajackoya was given 50 million to share, but he never shared with his deputy. My friend, I am richer than even 1 billion. Trust me. Follow my assets in the US, and then you'll answer those questions. Now, there are people I'm fighting for in the streets. If I now take money and then I go, don't you think those boys will kill me? People who believe in what I believe in? So it's all pegged that way. I refused. I'm on the ballot. I'm going to be on the ballot. I'm going to be elected president, and we take it from there. But the issue of mediocrity, making story, like if I say something good, like I've said about Ruto, now you'll see Azimio coming in and saying, oh no, he has been paid by Ruto. Ruto is also a Kenyan, like any other person. Now if I say something against Azimio or something which is not in tandem with their belief, the Ruto's people come in. They have put spies even in my office. I have 2 that I know of. You know, I was a spy before. So if you send a mediocre to come and spy on somebody who has been a spy, I look at them. They are planted from Ruto's place. They are planted 2 people. There are some who have been brought in, some have taken me to court, but I can't chase them away. I just play with them like the way a cat plays with a rat.
Okay, so both Kenya Kwanza and Azimio Camps have planted spies in your campaign team.
Yes, and I'm laughing every day.
Why do you think they're doing so?
I don't know. They know better, but I am smarter than that. And I cannot chase away these guys. I look at them and I laugh. I give them money, they say whatever. But I just look at them like a cat looking at a rat who is dangling the tail in the air.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they are doing so to achieve what?
Well, they know better. Maybe they're getting a few shillings from Ruto to come to me. But they don't know I'm ahead of 21st century.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you paint yourself as the third alternative, and are you so? And what do you think is wrong with Kenya's politics?
I'm not the third alternative.
Okay.
I am the alternative and the next president of this country.
If given the mandate.
And those people who are doing their opinion polls, once I win, we shall have a cup of tea and they'll have to explain to Kenyans as to why they are misleading Kenyans. Okay. Do you want to tell me, let's put a scenario this way, that today Raila is 49 and Ruto is 40. Really? And these people are neck to neck? Even if I was not vying, I would be like, no, come on, this gap is just too much. It can't be. If Raila is 43, Ruto is 41 there. If Ruto is 43, Raila is 41 there. Now you come up and widen that gap. Ruto people, if you are listening to me, come and vote for me.
Okay. As we finish up then, there is an important aspect that you also highlighted in your manifesto, and that is the shutting down of the standard gauge railway. Why?
Yeah. The Chinese grew 165,000 acres of cannabis. Mm-hmm. They got 3 trillion out of that. They gave Kenya 1.45 trillion from that money. Money from ganja. That's number one. Number two, if you look at the businessmen in Mombasa who are transporting goods from Mombasa to greater part of the continent, mm-hmm. they had taken loans, they had given collateral, they had employed boarders and drivers going to 500,000. All those people's businesses were put in the rack and they were not compensated. Now this small chum of railway from Mombasa, Kachuma from Mombasa to Naivasha, creating an empty field, taking the Masai land which was communal land in Narok, converting into a dry port. At a dry port, nataka port iko na maji. Then they give a monopoly to this small chuma from Mombasa to the so-called dry port, and then they put these millions of people out of employment without compensation. And then in that railway, if you look at it the way it was built, because I met the Serbian ambassador and I put him to task when he was telling me that even in Serbia, the Chinese have gone there to develop Serbia. I told him no. They're developing Serbia at your own expense and at your own instructions. But in Kenya, they come to develop our country, take jobs away from us, put civil engineers from employment, and become nyaparas here, and then they come and monopolize everything and putting on Chinese signs. Okay. We can build a better railway. Okay. Once we have marijuana, we shall put a multi-purpose freeway from wherever it will go to wherever, because we shall have our own mind, design it to our specification. It's the design I'm concerned about. Okay. The Chinese roads and Chinese railways, the design is not up to the standard. Okay.
One final question. You are clear that you will not attend the presidential debate.
If Ruto and Raila are not on the bench with me and Maure, I am not going to be paired with my senior.
So you want all the three other to be on the
same podium? All of us
to be on the same podium.
There. We are only 4.
Okay, to be on the same podium, to be clear.
Yes.
What if they all declined the request to be there?
They declined before, so it will not be the first time.
So will you be attending alone?
Well, I'm not attending a debate without Raila Amolo Odinga, William Samoei Ruto, and Maure on the same page.
If they decline, you decline?
No, if they're not there, I'm not going.
Is your running mate attending tomorrow's running mate's debate?
Yes, she's attending. Because all of them are attending. Okay. Yes.
And she will be appearing in the first tier of those who poll below 5%?
No, she's attending. And let me remove my deputy out of it because I don't control her. She's a Kenyan. She's a deputy president. She has a decision to make. I cannot make decisions for her. Okay.
So you can only appear on the same podium with the deputy president and Raila Odinga?
Yes.
One final question, and briefly. You want Ethiopia and Somalia incorporated into this African community?
Definitely.
Why?
Somalia should be part of East Africa. Ethiopia should be part of East Africa. And then we can solve our problems from within. Okay. Because this issue of isolating Somalia because of foreign policies that have got an agenda in them, in my government, I'm not going to accept. And you remember, I was a chief person in the Kenya-Somali case in the international court where I was called on TV to speak about the verdict. Somalia is a great country. Somalis are our brothers. They're our neighbors. For us to coexist with them, we should form a common ground. Okay. Once we become one, then the issue of terrorism, we can sort it out among ourselves rather than bringing out primitive laws that injure people.
Okay. Professor George Lushiri Wajackoya, thank you for your time. And we are some 21 days before Material Day on the 9th of August, when Kenyans will be according the mandate to the next crop of leadership. Either you, David Maure Waihiga, Deputy President William Ruto, and the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Thank you for your time, and thank you for making time on the broadcast.
Calling it the Wajackoya effect.
Kidogo nasikia 1 million Wajackoya, 2 million.
Hey, he must be the most genius I've ever seen in my life.
In the comment hapo na nataka comment Wajackoya the 5th. Kwenye comment section, just give me Wajackoya the